everybody, good afternoon. I'm Otis. Today we've got Chris Ogle, Managing Director of Internet Power Systems, SME7 and other companies. And now published author of Into the Clouds, the new book that's just been released. There's a lot of content, as we can see, it's quite a big book.
Yep.
What was the inspiration behind the book?
Well, I've been working with small to medium-sized businesses now for some 10 years or more. And while I was studying internet marketing back in around 2008, the education for people like me was really geared towards how we can sell information products on the internet. And I was looking at the idea of internet marketing and digital marketing with respect to small and medium-sized businesses, because that's my experience.
Yeah.
And what I found was the people that were studying with me were not in that space whatsoever. So I thought, well, this is actually quite a difficult topic. What I need to do is I need to document digital marketing in an understandable form so that people in business would be able to read this book. It's not just about digital marketing, but a whole plethora of things, and really understand what was available to them and how they might like to take their business forward. Now, the big problem is that this sector of the market that we're aiming at is around 250,000 turnover to 20 million. And this group of people are kind of being left out in the cold a little bit. They're sort of not getting the information. No one's getting the information to them. And I see this as a real problem for these companies, because the business world is changing. And what I've tried to do in this book is explain why it's changing.
Okay, so from my understanding then, the companies that you need to get to aren't gettable to.
Well, it's quite difficult to reach them, that's true. And
so this book is sort of like an educational tool for those types of companies?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the problem I have is there's only one of me. And all this information was inside my head, and I found myself having the same conversations over and over again with different businesses, but I was saying the same thing. And the problem with that is that you can only see so many people. So the book, reproducing the book, enables myself and other people to get that message out to a much greater audience. And this sector, as you rightly said, they're not easily reached, and the reason for that is because I do quite a bit of networking.
Mm-hmm.
And typically at networking events, you find a much smaller size of company than the kind of company that this book is right for. And those people at the networking, this is a pretty entrepreneurial bunch of people. They're picking up on all the new stuff that's coming out. So they're kind of picking out by osmosis. If you take the other end of the spectrum, the large companies, they can afford to pay people to find out about this thing. So they're kind of okay. But you've got this group in the middle. They're facing a recession, they're struggling with business, they're firefighting, they're trying to keep their companies afloat. They've got no time to network. They don't see the value in it, because if they're turning over 10 million, they don't want to sit next to a health insurance salesperson. No offence to anybody there, but they don't see them as the same people. So they don't go networking. So they're missing out on the education at that level. They don't have the spare cash to pay for it. So they're just sitting there in the middle, and they don't know there's a problem.
Uneducated.
They don't know there's a problem.
Well, the revolution is coming.
And believe me, this digital revolution is set to transform the business world, and they don't even know it's happening. They're oblivious to it, and that's why the book is so important.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 7 chapters for people to go through. Do you mind going into a little bit of detail about each one?
No, sure. That's no problem. There's 7 chapters, and I mean the first one is about getting the mindset right. We're going through a huge period of change, and we've been through change, but we're going through even more change, and it's going to get, the whole landscape of business is changing. And so if they not get the mindset right to start with, you don't understand the changes upon us, then nothing's going to happen. So the first chapter is all about that. The second chapter is about, okay, I understand now that we need to change. How does that affect my business? That's about the business process. Okay. So we have to look at what we're doing, look at how we're running our business, how we're managing them, and then see how that needs to be adapted to a more digital world.
Okay.
Right, that's chapter 2. Chapter 3 is about the transition to cloud computing. There's a lot of sort of confusion about what cloud computing is, but it's very, very simple. It's systems that you are running which are not based on servers in your office.
Okay.
In a simple term. So if you're running a stock management system and you're running it through a web browser, and that's on a machine which is a server, but somewhere on the internet, that could be cloud computing. So the next step 3, is all about moving your business to that environment. Once it's there, then you open up your business to collaboration and all sorts of other things, because it's website. And anybody with web permissions can then get to it. So that's really quite crucial, and it's really the first major step. And then you get step 4, which, to be honest, is about 180 pages of a 360-page book. So it's a fairly significant part. And that is about, and the book explains about all the different things you can do on the web about your business. So how you can promote it, how you can keep in contact with clients, how you can offer support using social media.
An immediate thing that comes to me there is that anything new obviously isn't going to be in the book, so is there a way people can access?
Yeah, we have a blog site for the book, which is called intotheclouds.co.uk.
Okay.
And when we find something that we would have put in the book,
it goes on there.
But it's not in the book because it was printed already.
Yeah.
Then we put it on the blog site.
Yeah.
So it's like a living book, really. But yeah, so step 4 is about how to use the internet more effectively with your business. And the goal really is to increase sales, increase support, provide better services to customers, build stronger relationships with suppliers, and by the very default that you're doing that will enable you to do more business, because you've got this whole marketing department, if you like, but it's all on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the 5th step is, once you've got to that point, the business should be growing. You've taken the business systems external, so you've probably reduced your IT costs. You've now got into a position where serious IT people are looking after them, but they're not on site anymore. So you've managed to sort of outsource your IT to a certain extent. Yeah. Now we've got that all stabilised, and we're getting upgrades without any pain. All the backups are being done without any pain, all that stuff. And we're doing all the internet marketing, digital marketing, to sort of promote ourselves in a more effective way. The next step is we've got increased sales. So how do we handle perhaps the changing nature of your business now? Because we're in the position now where sales might be going up, so you need to scale up. Or it might be that you've found your niche and actually you're more profitable, but you're servicing less clients.
Okay.
So you may need to scale down.
Yeah.
So step 5 is about outsourcing. It's about how can I now collaborate with people who are external to my business, but who can provide valuable tasks without me having to hire them.
Okay, yeah.
So this is moving away from the employer-employee model, which we're all used to a more customer-supplier model, which is the inevitable destination, but it's just going to take a long time to get there. So step 5 is about how you do that. And it gives business owners much more flexibility, because if you have a choice now, shall I outsource? Shall I hire someone? You can outsource for a while. If you feel you need someone permanent full-time, you can then hire later.
Yeah.
So it gives more choices, which is the key, really. Step 6 is about ideas. Now, many business owners will identify with this, is that you always have new ideas. You're an ideas person, that's why you're running a business. And you get lots of ideas about how to grow the business, how to bring on maybe complementary product sets or ranges, but you never have the time to bring these ideas out of the cupboard and make them happen. So the way we're working with outsourcing, and even you combine this with step 7, which is networking, by the very virtue of the fact that you're more accessible, and you've got time back now because you've kind of systemised your business. By the time we get to step 6, your business should be on autopilot.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to be spending
you don't need to
15 hours a day managing the business. We can we've put everything in place now to allow it to happen without us necessarily spending all the time there. So now we've got time to start to drive the business forward. And step 6 is all about bringing those ideas out. And then with 7, which is kind of, they're in conjunction with each other, step 7 allows you to find potential business partners who can accelerate your new ideas.
Yeah. So
people who've got the skills probably in the new things you're trying to do, and will enable you to find those markets more effectively, maybe find people that have got the connections to make it happen. You know, Dragon's Den, the reason people are on Dragon's Den is to find connections quickly, to accelerate the speed of development.
It's not necessarily for the money.
It's for the connections. And the step 6 is about, and step 7 is about networking. And I'll spend a bit, and 7 is quite important, networking, because networking for this group of people is an anathema. They don't know how to do it, why they should do it.
Before,
so we have to build a new kind of networking opportunity for these types of clients, where they can go along and meet people who are similar in size, similar issues, who they feel they can respect, and who are there doing what they're doing. And step 7 is about is developing that market for networking amongst this group of people.
Okay, well, I'm sure, thanks for that explanation, I'm sure there's some people watching that may wonder that they may already be on step 3 or they may be on step 4. How do they sort of, does it start from 1 and go through to 7, or does it go from, you can come in at 3 and backtrack and then go forward?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, one of the reasons why there's 7 steps, I mean, quite often I would be doing step 3 with a client straight away.
Yeah.
And you say, well, hang on, what about 1 and 2? Well, in actual fact, I did do 1 and 2, but I hadn't put names to these things.
Right, okay.
So I hadn't labelled them as like mindset and process, but I've done those jobs anyway. So all I've done is identify them in a more clearly defined fashion. But yeah, you're right, somebody might already be doing some digital marketing, and there's probably, all the businesses are doing something. They may have a website at least, or potentially a blog site, or they may have an online catalogue of some description. So they've already got something, and it might be that we start there sorting that problem out, and then backtrack into process and to steps 2 and step 3 once we've got the education job done at step 1. So yeah, it can be done. And networking, step 7, it's never too early to start. We can start that on day 1. So I don't think these 7 steps are there to clearly define a pathway, but people will skip and dip into these depending on where they are at the moment.
Okay, so I guess that leaves only a couple more things. What happens when somebody's read the book? Where can they go? Or
well, really, I mean, there's 2 things. Someone might have the book or been given the book and wonder why they should read it, and hope I've elaborated on some of that, why they should read it, because it doesn't matter whether you think this is going to happen or not, and we have to be quite clear about that. This is going to happen.
Okay.
And it's just a question of time and how fixed you are and where you are as to whether you survive or not. The problem for these businesses in the middle is if they don't start collaborating and working smarter, they will go out of business. It's that serious.
Okay.
But most people just don't even know that the problem is coming up. So, yeah, I mean, people who've got given the book, please read it.
Yeah. And
if you haven't got the book, then please go and get a copy. I mean,
how can they?
Okay, well they can get that on Amazon. It's on Amazon. That's probably the simplest way. If you go on there and just search for Chris Ogle as the author, this is my first book, so you'll just get that one book come up. But please go and get a copy. This is a £20 investment to protect your business.
Okay.
It's not a huge sum of money. No one's been asked to spend 1,500, 2,000, 5,000. It's a question of at least do your business the justice of understanding what's coming.
Okay, that's understandable. Yeah. Okay, folks, that's how you can get the book. And if people want to contact you after they've read it, or
yeah, I mean, there's a few ways, but to be absolutely honest, the simplest way is to follow me on Twitter.
Okay.
Because I will follow you back, and then you can do a direct message.
What's your Twitter handle?
It's just Chris Ogle. Yeah, it's quite
Chris
simple.
Ogle.
Yeah,
okay.
Chris as in Chris, Ogle as in Ogle.
Okay, brilliant. So that's how you can get hold of him, folks. Thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
As said before, you can get the book from Amazon.